My boogeyman's right here myself, baby, and that's the way I play. You know, and if I want my boogeyman out to play, guess what? It'd scare yours all to dickens, okay? So don't mess with me that way. Well, something like that, man. It's called equities of energy, see? And then there's nothing to fear in this 3D. And that's what we start here, loud and clear, day after day, in that coyote sort of way at Spring Creek. That's the beginning, man, right there. It's our great heart that we share here each and every day in that rock and roll sort of way. You know, I open my heart, you open your heart. All of a sudden, man, we're all going in the same flow, even though we're as diverse as anything in nature can be. Even as human beings, even as very similar presences, sometimes look a hell of a lot alike, you know, in this reality. I mean, even despite all of that. Unity, baby, is the reality of love in everything. And we live it, and we grow into it. And that's how we find our way back, man. It's just by allowing ourselves to be open enough to see the flow of love, to be the flow of love, to feel and flow and be completely confident in it, don't you know? It goes way beyond trust. It's just what you know. Even beyond that, it's a flow. You can't make it. You can't make it do anything. You just go with the flow. And it'll always flow in your direction. Whatever you want, whatever you need, that's what you empower in that moment, in that flow. Through the heart, see? It's almost like automatic pilot. Because love has its way, and it flows naturally in the way it needs to go. Each moment that we live. All the time, in every way. And see, there's peace in that when you understand that in every way. When you finally start to catch on. That whatever's been ain't going on no more, for one. And for another, it's okay now. Especially if we're done with it. But how do you release that stuff? How do you let go of this harsh reality? Don't feed it anymore. Don't give it your attention. Deal with it as you have to, because you can't let it take your family away or whatever horrible things they try to perform on you. And you got to stand with your neighbors and friends when horrible things are happening. Don't just let it go by. But at the same time, everything you do, let it be an act of love, not vengeance. You know, when you see yourself thinking in warlike terms, got to get those mofos, got to wipe out. But what you got to wipe out is the attitude. Whatever ingratitude and repulsive thing that represents to you. You know, well, don't let that be a part of you, and don't react to it in that way. Don't respond to it in that holier than thou sort of way. Or don't even think about it in that way. You know it's disagreeable. You know it's unreal. And you know it's just people in the background, in this shadowy background, trying to influence others into being rebellious enough to get a good war going on here, man. So then you have an excuse to impose, severe restrictions on the people, and the government becomes the all-powerful, bloodthirsty POS that it appears to be. POA and POS. Simultaneous terms in some places. That's an inside joke, by the way. In fact, I think we'll change it. Yeah, I think we should change somebody's initials. I think we will. Get a little more real in this reality, and then we can deal with one another perhaps in a more decent sort of way. We take such things as the repossessions of homes and so forth as just a natural part of the being and something we all got to be personally responsible for and so forth. We don't see the insane cruelty built right into that system, nor the slavery. We see some kind of justice in that. Well, I couldn't make my payments. Goodbye. All that money down the drain, man, and somebody else's, your loss is their great gain, it's a vampiric sort of thing, see? Disgusting. Yet we take that as a natural part of capitalism, and those that are wise and stealthy, they take advantage of such situations, and they buy those repos for nothing, and then, maybe fix them up a bit and flip them, etc. I mean, there's always these sly dogs, but the real sly dogs are the one in the backgrounds that gives you the mortgage paper on the place in the first place, as if you could even own a piece of land. You can't. You can occupy a place for a while, or it can occupy you, because sometimes it's a two-way street. It becomes that slavery right away, you see. And we just think that's all okay. We think that's natural, even though it isolates us right there from the beginning of our lives. When we first step into those situations and become a separated household of one sort or another, that's isolation. You know, it's not like when I was a kid, when the neighborhoods were, you know, even though we were isolated like that, we got along, we helped each other out, even if we disagreed vehemently about things. And wasn't that there wasn't feuds and stuff too, but it was normal humor and interaction. It was still warped as all get out, and you can't isolate people like that and expect them to function well with one another. This doesn't work, you know. People isolated become rather strange in their behavior. They lose that communal effect. Generally speaking, not everybody does, thank goodness, but generally speaking, you lose that communal effect, you know, and then you really have to strive hard to find it again, don't you? You know, well, striving and slaving are about the same darn thing, aren't they? Just give up. You know, and if this is burying you, let it go in this. But just, you know, from here on out, don't be indecent to one another in this way. That's all it takes, you know, just being personally pleasant and giving a shit about one another. And so, like, you're the bank. You hold the big old paper on the place, and we're still going to run with that system for a bit. Okay, if we have to. But let's play it this way. Give this person every opportunity to get back on their feet. There's always a way, and don't bury them in debt like that. You know, we pay 5 times for a crummy house, or even a nice one, whatever, but you pay 5 times for it. Time you guys pack interest on interest and penalties on interest and all of that good shit. You got to relax, let go of all that greediness. I mean, you know, that's just silly. What do you need all that money for? Why do you want to keep people down? So you can feel superior? Well, baby, guess what? There's a whole new energy coming around, and it's affecting slavers like yourself. Because you're just a slave to this money shit, too. So don't kid yourself that you're free. You're not. Nobody is, till everyone is, you see. And the only way to be free is to live in equity. And what is equity? That's when we share our communal energy and recognize it and flow with it. And stop trying to be such snot-nosed little, isolated little individuals. Individuated and unjust for everybody. You know what? Bullshit. Get real, get rocking, get right in your heart. Feel this love. This is life. This is reality. This is living truth. Bubbling forward from inside of your little tiny old sound booth. Yes, indeedy, that little heart of yours, housed in that temple of love we call the humane presence, you betcha. And that's what it's going to be from here on out, isn't it? Very humane. It forgot that its presence was all about loving and creation. That's what it's all about. That's what we express here, one way or another. Every person dies when they can't create anymore. Even in the 3D, when you retire, a lot of folks die within a year or 2 after because they just can't take the idleness. Well, don't be silly. Don't be idle. Retire from slavery, but take the freedom and put it to good use by helping free others, too. Whatever. I mean, there's a path for you. And it's personal, too. But that doesn't mean you're isolated, or that you're any better or any worsier than anybody else here on this whole reality, okay? You gotta have fun while you're here in the 3D. You gotta let go of all this heaviness and all this thievery, this legalized treachery, and stealing from one another and trying to be king of the hill or queen of the pile, man. Bull pucky, get on with the trucky, man. Load that manure and get it on out here and go spread it on the fields of life, and let's get over it, okay? Because there's a whole new power coming into play here, see, and this is the way. You gather communally, just like we do right here today, each and every day, Monday through Friday, on the Hazy Radio Network with Grandpa Coyote and Okiwan Kenobi, and all of us angelic presences come out to play. And I say us because everyone, even your little doggy too, is an angelic presence in this reality. It's all expressed of the angelic heart, and guess what? It's all an angelic experience. Obviously, because it's made of the angel heart. Now, what are angels? We are the children of the universe, the spiritual mechanics that help things go right, those that influence the flow of the creation through the full presence of the Mother's love inside of each and every heart that lives here as a human being or as a doggy presence, etc. Buffalo, anyone, etc. The ego, yes indeedy. Way up there in the air experiencing creation with an eagle-eye perspective too. Looking in on you, baby. You better make sure you're doing what you got to do, not being blue. Okay, because anytime you're feeling blue, baby, here's what you do. You see that you close your eyes, and you see that eagle flying in the sky. And you know that's you and I, that there's always this togetherness in this reality, this great equity of heart, which we demonstrate here day after day in that energetic sort of way, in the multiplicity of the way beyond duality of the multidimensionality, in other words, the energetic presence that shares itself fully and completely. Like we said a while ago, take a load off Granny, put it on Grandpa here, and I send a load of light back to you, dear. That's what we make out of it, and that gets us clear, see? That's why, if you're feeling all dark and mean and aggravated toward old Grandpa, it's because you need some release. You need some letting go, and not that you want to take me down. You want to bring yourself around, see? That's what the real desire is, even when you spiritually attack at me and send all that crazy energy this way and try to, get me down and bring me around or whatever it is, I just do the same thing. Put the load on Grandpa, send a load back to you, man, a load of light. And you get it right. And then the load comes back to me, and there's a bright light, and, it's an ever-increasing thing. That's the unity of heart. That's the function of the collective human heart. That's our real power, dear. And that's the only power that's here. And when you start to see that, dear, we don't have any more staged presences of riots and so forth. That's a thing of the past at last. The moment you get it clear, dear, and start to live it right here, right now. Just in your own person. That's the real power. And that's the real glory of us, too. Because that's what makes us happy. Is to be the creative little archangels that we are. What do you think an archangel is? That's the one that works with the arcs of life, all the little smooth flowing edges and corners, and what gives everything shape and form. Again, the spiritual mechanics. But we give shape and form to our experience. And we give shape and form to all of our multidimensional presences, the emotions of humanity and the oceans of love that we are the houses of. Well, that's the beginning point. That's the root. The water and the soil join together, uniting in liquid emotion, that flows and goes and has flexibility. You see? There can't be any duality in such a presence, or polarity in such a reality. See, we tend to think of everything made of protons and neutrons and electrons and shit like that, We tend to think of everything polarized here when we get down to the basic essences of life. It's our accepted form in this reality. Not realizing that, if it's magnetic, if it's polarized, if you turn it into such a place, it's very resistant to itself. Yet somehow life manages to hold itself together through this upside down and backwards reality we're living in. How does that happen? Well, it's rock and roll. Medicine for the heart and soul, this life we're living. And it's nourishing to everyone and everything. And nobody needs to hunger or thirst for anything. In its sick way or otherwise, man. It's the emptiness is the source of your fullness. Go there and be empty, and see what truthfully be, and you'll let go of any idea of self-condemnation you ever held against yourself, even those you're not aware of. Because there are triggers, there are these genetic memories, these genetic burdens, if you want to call them that. They're blessings, really, that we're here to work out in the 3D, and we've been doing it quite naturally, without even hardly thinking about it. Going through the motions in our life that completes the journey of all of our ancestors in this lifetime. Pretty amazing stuff. Now, it ain't going to be long before we're going to be hearing Jukebox Hero playing all across the sky. Coming from these boom boxes we call euphonic presences, these little silvery discs that will be in position all across this earth. And those that have otherwise technology daresn't make a move against us. Because it's our time now. It's our turn to rise up as the rock stars of this reality that we truthfully are, to recognize the great benefit and blessing our life has been to the universe and why we've made the sacrifice of being in this shithole in the first place. This old shithole's paradise too, you know. It's a blessing when you relieve yourself, isn't it? When you unburden yourself. You lighten up, start to glow, start to get on with it, don't you know? Start to understand the function of the reality now? Yeah, I thought so, man. You guys are pretty good. You're quick. Me too, man. Well, slow as an old... Well, I won't say it, but slow. Even in a quick sort of way, okay? I think we're all catching on today. See, it's equity. No one's ahead of anyone. Everyone's in the same place as everyone else. You don't have to believe it. Don't have to see it. Don't have to do nothing. It's so. And sooner or later you catch on, don't you know? Little openness, little willingness to see beyond your fixed experience in this reality. Your fixed presence is that says, oh, I believe this, absolutely, and I won't change. Yes, you will. Change all the time, man. Right to the skin you change. Nothing stays the same. And nothing ever will. It's a flow. That's life, don't you know? Coming clear here, dear, on the Hazy Radio Network. Grandpa Coyote. This little Okie-Wan Kenobi, good heart that he is. Good soul that you are. See? One reflects the other. That. Love it. See? That's the pool of life, the river of love, and there's your reflection thereof. Okay? Oh, we got it rolling now, the great flow of equity, don't you know? Coming from Spring Creek, this little show on the radio, on this network we call Hazy Radio Network, don't you know? The very source of your heart and soul and the love thereof, okay? The love it's made of, man, yes indeed. It's the original waters of life, flowing through you in that rock and roll sort of way, with the tunage of the day. Oh, darlings, and what's today? A Wowzer Wednesday day. The day we wed ourselves back together again, okay, and no longer believe in the duality or any of the old preconceived fixed concepts we had, even right down to the physics and the quantum physics of the reality and all of that shite. Everything that's based on polarity just ain't right, man. It ain't got it right, see. That's not the basis of life at all. The basis of life starts with a merger of love. A realization of, well, let's say the oneness, for lack of a better term, that there is one presence in all life living. One presence that's larger than life. Well, that is life. It's all of life. The one presence of love in each and every one, from the beginning. And that is the source of the empowerment of the human being. You want to return to that powerful place where this reality can't pick on you anymore, or anybody else that you care about, which is everyone. Just return to the heart. Make this switch. Roll with it, baby. Roll with it. Flow with it. Be it. We are this. You know, we're the syrup and the sap in the tree of life, and we're the blossoms thereof too. We're all of that, and then some. The more you realize, the more you allow yourself to get comfortable inside of your own skin, the better it will be for everyone in this reality. For each one of us, every life here is key. Not presidents and popes and kings and princes and queens and shit like that. None of that. Every person is integral. Every person has their own place and their own time of making it real and starting to rock it right. You see, and that's the medicine we share here day after day in that coyote sort of way. The medicine of the rock and roll heart. The one that knows the wildness of its own reality and embraces it. And sees in that wildness an end to all of the chaos. A great equity arising. A great happiness in every human heart. And all life that lives with us, too, because it's all the same thing. Humans are not distinct from the reality. We are just another part of it. You know, we might be considered a bridge or a gateway, each one of us, and all of us together as this gigantic collective of love. But everything else is made of our love, and our love is made of everything else too. We are mutual in our creation of one another, and mutual in our experience of it. I know this goes deep, you know, but the flow is rock and roll. And that's the gateway drug we share here each and every day. And it's not a drug, is it? It's an awareness. It's an energy. It's a focus. It's a way of being. A way of flowing with the glow of life. And learning that you are that glow. And then you see the disappearance of your shadow. And the disappearance of all shadow. And you realize life has returned to itself. That you have allowed your love to become unrestricted. You've gone beyond the feelings of the restrictive pain. You no longer seek to gain your presence through another person's presence. You already are. You don't need to kiss them all over. You already have. We all are in love with one another, for we're made of that same love. And that puts us in love, see, and it's not a fall. It's coming around, man. It's a glow of life being found right there inside of you, right there inside of me too, see. So let this tunage continue to make your heart large. Allow yourself to feel it, to be it, to flow with it, to feel the energy of it, the energy behind it, the energy of truth, the energy of rock and roll. These old golden oldies, man, they're not so oldie anymore, are they? They're as current can be. Because at the same time, the same moment is replicated each time we play these classical little pieces of tunage here on this hazy radio network. Spring Creek. From the beginning, baby. You starting to catch on, baby? Ooh, I tell you so. I wish we had another 3 hours to go, don't you? But we got a little more, so hang on, baby. Back in that saddle and let's ride, okay?